Here are the Calendula and Basil seedlings, and let me show you a closer look here. So here are the cotyledons right there in the bottom, or embryonic leaves, and in the middle are the first set of true leaves. So that is a sure sign that they're ready to be transplanted. Now the basil are a little slower, but I'm going to go ahead and separate these so that way it can speed up the growth since they're crowding in there, and the roots are actually sticking out the bottom there. But they are starting to get their first set, right? If you can see that tiny first set of true leaves in the middle there. So we'll go ahead and transplant these as well. What I'll be using is some organic potting mix, and I'm going to go ahead and add some worm castings. So I think I've got about maybe half a gallon of potting mix in here. So I'll add about half a cup of worm castings. Now the worm castings will aid in plant growth, moisture retention. Worm castings will also provide the soil with beneficial microbes, fungi, enzymes, humus, which helps with nutrient absorption through the plant's roots. And if you haven't used worm castings yet, I highly recommend using them. This one's by Vermistera. Excellent worm castings, organic, and aged 7 to 10 years. So these are pure worm castings, and worm castings actually provide our plants with slow release form of nitrogen, so it will not burn the roots. And I usually add about at least 2 tablespoons per plant or per pot, and a couple of tablespoons of worm casting to a potted plant will feed them for up to 6 weeks. Before I fill up my pots with potting mix, I usually place a small piece of paper towel to cover the holes. That way the soil does not fall through, so it does not make as much mess. So I got my pot filled up about 3/4 of the way with potting mix. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little shallow indent in the middle there. Look at those roots. So you can easily peel these toilet paper tubes since they're wet. And I'm going to just remove one of the plants, leave the other one in there, and then place the other seedling in another pot. There we go. So if you want, you don't necessarily have to remove the toilet paper tube or roll. It'll decompose over time, especially if you're planting them in the garden. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. You can just leave the toilet paper roll around your plant. So you want to bury your seedling about the same depth it was when it was planted in your seed starter pot or container. Then press down around it to support the plants. Let's get our little basils planted as well. There's 2 in this one here. So I'm going to just go ahead and separate them. And if you don't want to plant all of them, you can choose the bigger and healthier seedling and plant that instead. So just be careful when you're separating the seedlings because the roots are very delicate. So shallow hole here, then backfill with soil. Go ahead and give it a little bit of water. If you thinned out your seedlings to 1 seedling per toilet paper roll, make sure to open up the bottom if you're going to plant this directly in the ground or in the pot, so that way the roots can grow out freely like that. And you can just stick this in the pot like so. I prefer to take them out of the toilet paper tube when I'm growing inside, and I can just compost the toilet paper roll. So it's been exactly 6 weeks since I transplanted the basil and calendula seedlings. Remember how small or tiny they were? Look how big they are now. So the calendula starts are actually outside. I am hardening them off right now. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be showing you how to prune these back to make them bushy and lush. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Happy gardening!